Are you thinking about hiring help, staff, employees, contractors in your business, but you're not sure if it's the right time yet? I'm going to tell you how I knew it was time and what I did to get started. Stick around. Hi, I'm Naren from Positively Sorted, and I help small businesses to grow by simplifying their workload, admin, websites, email marketing, the technical spreadsheety stuff, all of that sort of too hard, techie, fiddly, complex stuff. Me and my team can help with that. But I also want to help people that aren't sure about getting started with virtual assistants, and tell you a bit more about how to do it. So how do you know when it's time to get help in your business? For me, I knew it was time when a few things happened. And this was about 18 months ago, so things have changed a bit, or a lot since then. But at the time, I was running out of hours in the day and still had potential new clients sort of coming to me that I really wanted to help. I see those or hear the things that they want help with and go, oh, I could do that. But yeah, not enough hours in the day. I was getting pretty stressed and at risk of burning out. I wasn't really keeping up very well with marketing and the admin and behind the scenes stuff for my business. So like all the client work took priority and my stuff was just falling way behind. And if some of those clients dropped off because I wasn't doing any more marketing stuff, there wasn't necessarily any potential new clients sort of in the pipeline sort of thing. The only way I could really create more hours in the day that would work for me, like I'm not one that works till midnight or weekends and things like that. The only way that I could do it was to actually find someone to help me. Plus, with the full roster of clients, I had the income at that stage to pay for somebody to help. Which in the past, even though I loved the idea of having a VA or someone to help, I really didn't have the income to cover that. So now I did, and I knew that person coming to help would actually be able to help me increase my income again. So I was like, right, it's time. So then where do you start? I definitely wasn't ready to actually hire an employee full-time or even part-time. And while I did have systems and tools in place that I used for me to stay on top of things and keep organised, I didn't have a lot of it documented. So to get somebody else on board and to know what happens when and how I like things done, I didn't have any of that set up. So being crazy busy already, I knew I was going to have a heap of time to train somebody. So, and in case you didn't know, a lot of people do know now, but you don't have to hire an actual employee and hire actual staff. With a virtual assistant, and there's many different forms of virtual assistants. I've covered that in a different video. You can hire a VA full-time or part-time with a set number of hours, but you can also just get them to do an hour here or there, or just a certain I've got one client that I do her email out to her list once a month, approximately. And that's all I do for her. That's all she needs right now. So it can be as little or as much as you want, and especially when you're first getting started with getting that help, it can actually be really handy to start with just one little thing, and take that off your plate, get that going, and then add more. And especially when you've been slogging away on everything all by yourself, it can sometimes be hard to imagine letting someone else do some of this stuff. So it definitely makes sense to start with small steps. So what I did was I was actually started out with another local small business who had an assistant that was helping her, that she was like, hey, she can help you too. And I'd worked with her a little bit before, so I trusted her, and they were able to jump straight in. The biggest thing that she probably helped with to start with was actually getting some of those processes documented. So I would explain, hey, this is what I want to do, this is how I need it done. And so she would do that, and then at the same time document the steps that she was doing, so that we'd have that for next time. And if it was something, especially if it's something that's happens repeatedly but maybe not necessarily every day, it's very handy to have those steps to look back at, to remember how to do it. So that got me started and gave me a good feel for having someone to help. And we did have a little hiccup at the start, and it was a great lesson, especially sort of starting small. It didn't have a huge dramatic effect, but basically I learnt how important communication is, both with your clients and with your team members. So we had a bit of I was like, why isn't she coming back to me? Why isn't this getting done? And she was kind of over there going, I don't know when she wants it done. So it was a good wake-up call for me to go, right, this is what I would like. And so if I give you a task, let me know if you can do it. Let me know if you can do it by that date. Just setting those expectations and boundaries, and once we got that going, everything ran like clockwork. And that was sometimes one of those things that you have to learn the hard way to make it stick. So once I got more comfortable with delegating, and to start with, so it was probably only a couple of hours a week when I very first started. And then as I got comfortable delegating more work and had more work coming in, we actually found that this particular assistant and that business didn't really have the hours available to help me as much as I wanted. So we were like, yeah, cool, that's all good. I'll find someone else that has more hours, and they were happy with that too. So then I went and found it was a bit more of a process of figuring out how many hours I needed, whether I wanted to have somebody a set amount of hours, or someone local or overseas. There's pros and cons for all of those, and I'm going to talk about them in another video, because I think there's definite ins and outs of all of those different parts of the decision making, and then some of the resources I use to help me make those decisions and help me interview potential assistants and things like that. So I'm going to talk about those very soon. Keep an eye out. And I'd love to hear from you too. Whereabouts are you on that sort of scale of needing help? Have you hired a VA before, and how did it go? Did you have any hiccups like I did? Or are you not quite sure where to start and have more questions? Let me know in the comments, and I will be back soon with more info, and I'm going to talk a bit about some of the tools we use too. All right, see ya.